After 2 weeks of online calls, here is my recap of weeks 3 and 4. First things first, before I get into the video, Happy New Year to every single one of you. Let's make this a great year for everyone. I do apologize I missed last week's matches. I did watch them all, I just never got a chance to sit down and record it. But since I missed that and I watched this week's, I decided to do it differently. So I'm going to talk about each team's respective records, so just doing it match by match. But we're going to get started with the Vancouver Surge. After the break, they decided to drop Legend for TJ. Now, everyone knew TJ was going to probably get into the league at some point. It is unfortunate that Legend was dropped. I definitely think like if you had a better system around him, it would have been much better for him personally. He would improve much faster. But he's doing well in challengers right now, and I think he's on another team. He got off the Stallions, for those who aren't aware, and y'all can figure out all that challengers. I'm gonna make a video about challengers relatively soon, but this team pretty much didn't really move my I don't think it moved the needle. They came back with Tej. They pulled off a reverse sweep against Boston Breach, then lost to Optic 3-1. Comfortable besides the overload. The overload, they actually took it by 1 score. But overall, this team still isn't impressing me. My biggest issue with this team, honestly, pretty much Abe. I think Abe has just not been the player that I expected him to play. Granted, he was pretty trash on the beginning of the year because obviously the team was overall sucked, but he just hasn't been moving the needle for me. We know what this guy can do because we saw him play with Toronto Ultra back at EWC, and he was a really good force in challengers. I think he deserves a spot in the league. I just think this team isn't really best suited for him. There's really no veterancy. Again, even though they have TJ now, who's been in the league for quite some time, I think he's the longest tenured pro out of everybody. But I don't know, this guy, he's not moving the needle for me. I hope he plays better. I hope this team can get better. I think Abe is probably the best player on this team, like in terms of like talent and potential. I think he has the highest ceiling out of everyone on this team, but this team is just not doing it for him. And their final matches are, if I recall correctly, Vegas, FaZe. So I don't see them winning this match at all. But I mean, who knows? We've seen a lot of upsets these past 2 weeks, and I think it's definitely possible for him to do it, but we'll see. Next up, we have Cloud9. And for the record that they have, this team actually has been pretty surprising. Barring outside of the FaZe Vegas, which FaZe has been just on a resurgence for the most part, but I'll explain later. They look pretty solid. I mean, going into the break, they lost a map 5 to Heretics. Coming back from the break, they lost a map 5 to Gentlemen, which I think is a top 4 team. Definitely. Top 4, top 5 bare minimum, top 4, top 6 bare minimum, honestly. They lost to FaZe 3-0, but then they lost a game 5 to Boston. I definitely think that this is a really good team. The record is surprisingly doesn't show how talented these guys are. I do overall like this competition of a roster. I think Afro needs to, for me personally, I think it's my player to watch because we've seen him Friday challengers. He's having an okay start. I think he can improve a lot. But only time will tell. I do like this roster overall. I pray that they don't drop Vivid. Even though he's not playing great either, we've seen what happens when they drop Vivid. You drop Vivid and you essentially get worse. This happened to his entire career. So I believe that this roster can do damage. My eyes are mainly on Afro and Beans because I think Beans is a CDL caliber player, but in the past few years he hasn't really showcased that. His best opportunity was with Toronto Ultra, and I think he was better than his AR do for majority of the year, but it still wasn't really enough for me to move to really see ideas of him being in the league. I hope he can prove me wrong because I definitely think that if he doesn't do well here, I don't see him being in the league much longer. Next up is G2 Minnesota, and I don't know how to feel about this team at all. This literally G2 is just it's so crazy how Rocker has evolved over the years, but it's still the same team. They cannot win a game 5. It's insane. Besides Optic and FaZe, every other game they've played in this season alone already has been to a game 5. They lost to Optic back at the beginning of the break, and they lost a game 5 to Boston Breach before the break. They come back, they lose a game 5 to Falcons, and then another game 5 to Ravens, which I'll explain later because I think Ravens is actually on the uptrend. Now, they did manage, which really surprised everyone because everyone expected Fate to 3 of these guys. They 3-1'd them. And my player that I've been liking to watch, especially, I think obviously it's gonna be Kremp. I think Kremp has been really good so far this year. Granted, it's only been 5 matches in a qualifier, online qualifier. But besides his overload, he's been pretty solid in the other 2 game modes. Hardpoint, he's frying. And like his S&D prowess is actually really, really good. And he's sitting at a 1.04 KD, which is actually kind of surprising. I think he's just been frying everybody. Like, this guy, I think if you are any other team, you have to veto Colossus from this roster because you're gonna get another 50 bound of Kremp almost every time. And Mom was honestly, like, for these stats, he's actually been really solid. I definitely think that my issue with this team is around Skies. I think Skies has been pretty poor and the stats kind of show it. Yeah, I don't think this guy's been great at all. I mean, he has his moments, but I don't think he's been that great. So I hope he can improve. But I do like this roster. I honestly do. I definitely think this is like borderline 7th, 8th. Maybe they could like crack into top 6 with improvements. But I think this roster is great. I think Ezreal's been solid for what the team needs. I think Kremp's just definitely been turning it up a notch, and I like that. And their next 2 matches are like Toronto Ultra, and I can honestly see them beating Toronto Ultra. With them beating FaZe, which, by the way, when I get to FaZe later, just know they've been pretty dominant since the break. So I think this team can actually do damage against Koi and even win the series. Because, man, the way that they upset it FaZe was kind of crazy. Next up, we have Boston Breach. Now, I definitely don't know how to feel about this roster. I feel like this roster is much better than what they've shown. Granted, they have a 2-3 record right now. Coming from the break, they lost a Game 5 reverse sweep to Surge, which I'm still surprised at. Then they lost a Game 4 to Miami Heretics, and then they won a Game 5 against Cloud9. I definitely think this roster is better than what they're showing. I do have a few complaints. I think like Purge has been kind of underwhelming so far. I know like they were like not practiced because of visa issues when they got back in the rig, but then this last past match they played terrible. I don't know. Even though he's won, I think he also been playing terrible still. Like his C9 match, I don't know. It's kind of rubbing me. I don't know. And I understand that Purge isn't the Slayer per se, but like looking at his arrow's still pretty solid for just not putting up the actual damage and respectiveness, like what he needs to do as a sub. I don't know. I think this roster can definitely be a top 8 caliber team, but I don't think they are at the current moment. And that kind of shame to say, because I think Nasty's been insane in this game. He's obviously been like their best, if not their second best. I think he's been their best player, period. Like Sumi's been okay. I think Kenny's been a little underwhelming, but I think like Nasty's the best player on their team, hands down. He's doing everything. Like he's currently at the 3rd highest KD for overload. This man's actually going crazy. Like, I think Nasty's been underrated his entire career. I definitely think that he should have been on a top 6 team bare minimum. I don't know why no one picked this guy up because he's absolutely insane. But their last matches are LAT, which if we're seeing what LAT is finally showing us, I don't think they're going to win that series at all, but only time will tell. I do think this roster should be better than what we're seeing now, and I hope they can improve. Now, Miami Heretics. This roster, I'm liking. I liked this roster last year. Granted, it's minus Real plus Trakes. I think Trakes has been pretty okay for what the team needs. I think Meadows has stepped up in a way as well. These are not bad stats at all. Like, people will look at this and be like, oh, he's terrible. Like, no, I think he's doing what he needs to do. And I think Meadows is definitely stepping up. Like, his HP KD specifically is really good. I think this team is actually really solid. And then you have, like, obviously, like, Rancor and Super. These two are insane. Like, insane. If they don't stay on this Miami team, if the Miami Heretics roster, I can definitely see them on a top 4 team, hands down. Like, I can see them on a really high like organization. Like, these two specifically, Rancor and Super, are insane. And they, after the break, they lost to Ravens, which again I'll explain when I get to Ravens. But besides that, they looked pretty comfortable. I think they definitely improving. I think it was just a lot of growing pains with Trakes because like you're losing Real. I think losing Real was overall a big loss, but like they made up for it. And like Trakes has been a solid player enough for them to continue like to do what they need to do. And I definitely think they could definitely crack top 6, and definitely like even they continue on their trend, they could be a top 4 team. And their final match against Paris, which I'm really interested to see. I think Paris have been slipping and they've been on the rise, so I'm excited to see this match. This is actually one of my matches to watch going into the final week of quals. Now, next up, what the hell? The Ravens, first off, they dropped Slasher, and Slasher, if you ever the off chance to see this video, I fucking love you, man. Thank you for being an absolute unit in the league, in the scene. Like, you are incredible, and I hope you have a great rest of your days. I mean, yeah, like I know it's not like he's like a bidding farewell. It's like he's gonna pass on to like the afterlife, but like I'm gonna really miss watching this guy, and it's actually insane that he's gone. But going back to this roster, they dropped Slasher, pick up Exceed, and I don't know, like Exceed was like, all right, I can't mess this up, because everyone knows Exceed in previous years. I mean, if I could see if I can pull up his cards, like guy wasn't great. Like he wasn't great at all. You know, like yeah. When he was on LAG back in the 2023 NW2 season, like oh my god, this guy was getting twerked on. Esports World Cup 2024, he was a little better, but then like at the Esports World Cup last year, he actually was doing his thing, got top 8, and like he beat 2 pro teams last year. What was still in challengers, doing what he had to do, and he's finally got in the league. And since then, he's playing a more like leadership role AR. Like he's on the pseudo main AR, and he's actually been doing his thing. Since the break, they are 3-0. They beat Heretics, G2 in a game 5, and they just recently beat Toronto Koi. Now, Koi is looked at as a top 4-ish, top 6 team. They're a pretty high up team in the league, right? They comfortably beat him, right? And Exceed has been really turning heads. He has the #1 KD in Overload. That is insane. Like for amount of hate and amount of like trash talk and amount of like just shit that he get this thrown at this guy, the fact that he put his head down, grinded it out, and now he is showing like what he's truly capable of, and he's making this opportunity worthwhile. Like, yeah, he's not that great in S&D or in hardpoint, and his overload's pretty good. But for what the team needs, he's helping his teammates flourish. Like, since he's got back, his team looks so much better. And Craze especially has been I've been keeping my eye on him because he's definitely a more aggressive player, but he's like a wizard in S&D, and I love watching this kid play. And like, I love lyrics. I think he has a lot more to show. I think finally he's starting to improve as well, and I like that. Because watching their airs on the map with Slasher was not really like doing it for me, but ever since Exceed's been here, like everything started improving, and I like that. I definitely think this team can actually they've shown they can upset a top 6, top 4 team, and their last 2 matches are Optic and Thieves, and I definitely can see them beating them, or at least going game 5 with those teams. Like, it's actually kind of insane how like Exceed changed his roster, and I'm really happy for the kid, and I can't wait to see what they do in the rest of the year. Now we're getting into the top 6 teams, and I'm going to start with Riyadh Falcons, because after the break, they've been doing their thing. They won a game 5 against Minnesota, and they've also won a game 4 to Net Paris. Now, I will say they played the most matches out of anybody in the league. I'm pretty sure they're at no. I'm lying. I apologize. It feels like they played the most out of everybody. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. They've definitely been on an upward trend ever since they lost their 2 matches against the top 4, the 2 top 4, quote unquote top 4 teams. And I like what I'm seeing out of this roster now. When I first looked at this roster, I'm like, okay, this is just an 8 lobby team put together. But we're starting to see like them trying to find their footing. Stellium has been excellent for this roster. For the amount of not shit he gets, being a mega kill whore, not playing for OBJ, he's been doing what he needs to do for the win. And I'm starting to see that like it's showing that he's not just getting the bag. Like, yeah, I think he honestly still picked this team for the bag. But like you could see like a potential top 4 team being formed. I think Xnid's been serviceable. I think they had this main issue with the roster beforehand was just the Pred and Xnid combo, and then Kismet being the flex. I think Kismet would have complemented Xnid more than Pred does, but I think they like figured out what they need to do. Pred's having a pretty decent year so far, and Kismet he's just doing what he needs to do. Yeah, these stats aren't like great, but like Kismet has been an enabler. He always enables his teammates. If you look back at the NW 2020 2023 season where he was on NYSL with Hydra and they won 3 events, including champs. He was enabling Hydra and his teammates to just play better. That's what he needs to do. But we've also seen him fry. Like, let's not forget that chance. He was 99. He's called 99 kids for a reason. So let's keep that in mind. And their final match is against Cloud9, which I could definitely see them winning. So they're probably gonna go 5-2, and it's gonna make some pretty interesting like seedings for the major. I'm actually really happy for this roster. Like, for amount of talk, like including myself, because I definitely think this roster looks weird on paper. No bullshit. But team looks solid. Can't wait for them to play on LAN, honestly. That energy is going to be insane with X and Fred. I'm not going to lie. Next up, we have the Paris Gentlemen. Now, when this team first played, I think everyone knew that's probably the second best team in the beginning of the game. Like, early on. Early. And they definitely showed it, and I think it was completely justified. Since they got back, though, they've looked pretty shaky. They've won a close game 5 against Cloud9, which I don't think you should be getting anywhere near that at all. But that might be just showing that like C9 was just playing better. But then they lost a game 4 to Falcons, and I'm not gonna lie, that game 3 was so trolly, but like they did it. The Falcons found a way to do it, and they got it. It's kind of weird looking at this, seeing that like Sib, the more like aggressive AR, is having like a kind of like slower start. I think he's still service. He's doing what he needs to do, but I was expecting him to have like a higher like KD and have a higher Slayer rating, because that's what he's like a really like aggressive Slayer. But I don't think this roster is that bad. I don't think this roster is bad at all. They just look a little shaky, but I know they're gonna iron out the Kings because come major they're gonna be ready to fry. My player to watch has always been Ghosty. Ghosty's just honestly been their best player, hands down. The guy's actually going insane. He has the #1 KD and HP KD in the league right now. And this guy is just doing what he needs. He's just doing every damn thing, and it's insane. I feel like everyone still forgets like what Ghosty can do, because when we seen him at his quote-unquote best, he was playing like a more facilitator role, more IGL, more OBJ. But like we've seen this kid can do both. You can fry and still put like OBJ. And this roster is still kind of scary. Like, I gotta watch out for these guys. The last 2 matches are against Koi and Heretics. I think they're both winnable series. If they still look shaky, then I feel like it gets a little mixy. But I think they're gonna ice up and do what they need to do to get the job done. Next up, we got Toronto Koi. This roster pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. I do love this roster. They are 3-2. Their only losses in the break were, well, in this whole like season so far, was to FaZe and to recently to Ravens, which I don't think they were expecting to lose that series. So I think they caught them off guard. I still think this Toronto Koi team is definitely a guaranteed top 6. I think they have the potential to be a top 4 team and even be the best team. I definitely think Joe DeCease is having a really good year again. Joe DeCease every year has just been astounding to me. He was pretty decent in MW2. He was really good at MW3. He was damn near godlike in Black Ops 6. And now he's just continuing on that trend. Like, this kid is insane. It's really good what this kid can do. And like, honestly, I'm also like liking what Phoenix is doing overall. Like, yes, his HP KD looks kind of bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But what he needs to do on the map, he's still doing it. He's still playing at a good pace. Reality Edition has still been a serviceable SMG for Deceives, and I like that. I think my biggest eyes are going to be on Insight, because again, I said it earlier, I think Beans was the better AR out of Insight. Insight's been having a really weird like trend to his career. Like, I definitely think Insight can still be one of the greatest ARs we've ever seen. But like, he doesn't like to move his left stick, and we see that a lot. And it bothers me, because like when he uses his left stick, when he runs on the map and stop like holding an iron every like 20 minutes, like 20 minutes he's holding that same iron for 20 minutes, he's not moving. It makes me mad, because he has so much talent, and we seen at the World Cup last year when he's using his left stick, he's insane. But overall, this roster is fine. Their final matches are against Paris and Minnesota, which at the very worst, I think they're gonna go 1-1. I think they guarantee beat Minnesota, and they just gotta lock it if they want to beat Gentlemen. Next up, FaZe Vegas. Okay, first off, let's talk about this roster for a minute. since the break, they picked up Aluka on the sub bench because people were expecting him to replace either Draza and 04. Now, Draza before the Optic match wasn't playing too great at all. I think people can agree with that. Like, everyone's eyes was mainly on Draza. They thought most likely Draza would have got dropped for Aluka. That or 04. I think like they were okay, but like Draza specifically was not playing great. But then everyone like he just realized that he's Optic CEO. So specifically on Optic, he just ran them. Like he ran them. Like I mean ran them. A 1.3 KD frying. He had a 1.19 Slayer rating. A Slayer rating is basically like a projected kills in a 5-match series. So if this went 5, he was dropping 120 kills on Optic. That is insane. This guy loves playing against Optic. He loves being the CEO. He's insane. I honestly think that best player still is going to be Simp. Simp's been insane for this roster as always. But Abuz has been catching my eye because this guy, it's just, God, he just shoots so good. Oh, and he's going to sniper. I do like this roster. Their final matches are against Vancouver Surge, so I definitely think they're gonna go 5-2, which is gonna make a really interesting bracket come next week. Next thing I wanted to talk about is Sleeve, because before Optics match, we weren't sure like what was going on with them, because let's see. Before the break, they lost to Paris, and it was like a battered loss. Like it wasn't like a regular loss. Like they got battered, like battered. Then they played Koi, and it was insane. After the match, if you remember the player cams, like Scrap's face, just you saw just pain, like he was going through war. And like everyone's eyes were mainly on Kenny, and rightfully so, because before the Optic match, he was like a 0.56 against Gentlemen and a 0.66 against Toronto is insane. Now, again, like Kenny, for what it's worth, I think Kenny's a valuable player in game and out of game. But like last year, he was dropping stinkers, like when he was on Optics as well. The 0 and 18, he was known as 10.3 any. Like I don't like he literally was getting slammed. But again, just like Draza, he played against Optic. Now, mind you, for those who weren't aware, back in the day, since Black Ops 4, he's been known as the Optic Reaper. So he saw Optic, and just like Draza, he put belt to ass. Again, look at the Slayer rating, a 115 Slayer rating. He was expected to get 115 kills across the entirety of that series. They went to game 5. Insane. I think Scrap has still been like their best player hands down, and I love that. Like Scrap's just been Scrap. Scrap doesn't have to do anything. There's a lot of talk about Abuzi because it wasn't really working well with their sub duo and Hydra, but you know, he used an AR and he just slowed his game down, and I like that. Hydra has still been kind of like, but he's always like that in the beginning of the game. He always fries at the end of the year, so I'm not too worried about Hydra at the moment, but it's serviceable what he needs to do. And again, they gave belt to ass to Optic, and their final matches are against Carolina and Boston Breach, so they definitely could go 5-2 here, which will, again, this is gonna be another interesting bracket, bro. I'm telling you. Last but not least, we got the reigning world champions, the back-to-back world champions in Optic Texas. And ooh, it pains me to see my boys like this, but since the break, they've been pretty mediocre, right? And what I mean by that, they got slammed by FaZe and they got slammed by Thieves, right? But even when they won against Surge, besides the Surge and the last hardpoint, they look pretty shaky on every map they've played on, like hands down. My biggest issue with this team right now, I love this team to death. I do. I've loved Optics since essentially Black Ops 2. So around the time when Scump joined it, because I've been following Scump first when he was on Leverage. But besides the point, biggest two issues is the subs. Now, Hoop I'm gonna give a little bit of a grade because he definitely has been improving a bit, so it isn't crazy. Like and everyone forgets that Hook literally hasn't been always been frying on this roster since last year. Like he's been serviceable. He's been doing what he had to do. Like even look at even like going into like last year essentially. Like let's go like all the way back to Major 4, the tournament. Like around a 0.9, 1.0, 1.1, like 0.9, 0.9, like going into the matches, like, you know, 0.8, 0.9. Like he's been serviceable. I think I think he's still getting twerked on. The subs are getting twerked on. If like I think Hook can stay at this level because like what he needs to do on the map, he's their IGL. He's doing what he needs to do. He's calming out beautifully, by the way, still. So it's like I think I'm gonna I could let it slide with Hook, but like the superstar Shotzi, like, bro, what are you doing? Like this kid, I don't know. It's weird because he is, I know, and like people are gonna say like, oh, like he gets better at the end of the year, just like Hydra. I'm like, yeah, but to be at the 49th KD on hardpoint in a 48 player league is quite literally unacceptable. I feel like he's been pinching too much in maps. I feel like in the maps where, and I'm gonna get more to it in another video because I do want to talk about it more, but for right now, I think Shotzi is the biggest outlier in this team. Like he's getting torqued on every match, even when they're winning. So it's like, I don't know. Like so far, every win that they've had, their ARs, especially Merc, by the way, fire, flying, frying, doing whatever he wants to do on the map. Definitely think a top 5 player in the game right now, maybe even top 3. Dashy's also been pretty serviceable. I'm not gonna lie, he's been pretty good. I think Dashy's like ever since he switched up his role, like mid NW2, NW3, like he's been more of a consistent force. Like he can still fry, but he's still doing more RJ work as well. And I like that he's found that balance. I love it. But their only ways that they're winning the map is through their ARs, and I need their subs to pick up the pace. But again, I'm gonna get to that in another video. Their final match is against Ravens, which I definitely think is winnable. I mean, Ravens still look good, but I'm confident this team can bounce back because I think they do. If they need to bounce back before their home major to do damage, I feel like if they don't bounce back, it's gonna be a really mixy major for them. And yeah, these are the standings right now. So as you can see how the standings are, there is 3 people that are 4-2, and then there are 4 people that are 3-2. Like, come on now, that's insane. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Before I go, I will talk about my overall tier list for the entire league. This is my tier list going into the final week of quals. I put FaZe, I put FaZe and Thieves in S right now, only because you could honestly, now again, this is definitely like kind of like, I feel like this is mixy right now because it's just the amount of nonsense I'm seeing overall. But FaZe, out of everybody in the league, looks the least shaky, if that makes any sense. I definitely think that FaZe at this current moment is the best team because they played the hardest schedule. They've played against almost every single theoretical top 4, top 5 team, top 16 if I want to say, and they've besides Thieves has beaten them. They've played against Koi, beat them. They played against Mates, beat them. They played against Ops, slammed them. The only other team they even played against was Falcons. And FaZe has been comfortable, I think, for the most part. Right there, I didn't have Thieves. I think with this Kenny resurgence, if Kenny continues to play what he's playing, I definitely think he can do it. It's just, again, a rise on Kenny for the most part. And I have Koi. I think Koi has been like the most like pretty leveled right now. And then I probably put Optic because they do look shaky. And then after that, I put Gentlemates, then Falcons. I can honestly, I'm gonna put Ravens above Heritage right now. I think Ravens is definitely midfielder the thing. Then Heretics, Boston Breach, G2, Cloud9, and Surge. But hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what was your most surprising match. I'm gonna be honest, the most surprising match for me was the Ravens series against Koi, only because I don't think anyone was expecting Ravens to beat them at all. I thought it was gonna be a comfortable 3-0 from Koi, but it's insane. Then after that, I think everyone's gonna put the. You might also put the G2 in phase one because I don't think if G2. I don't think G2 won that series at all. But just I don't know, man. I don't know. It's so weird. But again, let me know in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Hope you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys later for another video. Peace.